Hi, this is David with entry number 167. Oh, it's really bright. Well, I guess that's just gonna how it's gonna have to be. So, first, I want to talk about two things. First, I want to talk about a show that is on was released, or second season was released earlier this week or last week, and it is called House of Cards. Now, if you don't know what House of Cards is, maybe skip a few minutes ahead because I just want to spend a minute talking about it. I'm currently watching the 4th episode of season 1, and it is a very, very good show. Is it in the same conversation as something like Breaking Bad or the more recent True Detective? I would say yes, it is. It has that feeling when you're watching it that you kind of know you're watching something quality, like I don't know, like touching anything that's really high quality. I don't know how to describe that. You just know you're watching something that is on another level, different plane of television existence, I guess is how I could put it. You see people delivering, and I think it really comes down to writing and direction, obviously, but you see these actors who you've seen in other things, Kevin Spacey, Kate Mara, you may not know that name, but you may have seen her face. What's her face? Sean Penn's ex-wife. She was Jenny in Forrest Gump. Robin Wright. And you see these actors, and you go, these are very good performances. When you watch something like Mad Men, they don't talk how normal people talk. They talk in, like, especially Don, they speak in very short sentences that are to the point and very concise. I guess that's what to the point means, but in this show, Kevin Spacey, who's the lead, who plays the House Majority Whip, I believe, is the kind of like a guy who's, I'll just give a very brief kind of synopsis, but he's essentially, at least in what I've seen so far, he's scorned by the president, the incoming president, who he helped become president, and essentially is trying to kind of dismantle his presidency from the inside out. And it's a very interesting, concept, and how he executes his strategy is conniving and daring and audacious, but it's a very good show, well acted, and he speaks, and the way these actors are being directed, they speak very, it's an Aaron Sorkin, or is it Aaron Sorkin? Or is it, I think it's an Aaron Sorkin, David Fincher joint, and they've been working together now for a few movies. I think Social Network and Moneyball, I think, was them. I'm pretty sure they've done a few movies together, but it's a very, Sorkin loves writing for the DC kind of political perspective, so yeah, it's an interesting concept and very well written, very well executed. Highly recommend that show, House of Cards, Netflix original series, but you can ascertain the show in a myriad ways. Excuse me. Now, I'll spend a few minutes now just kind of rounding out my ideas I had a couple days ago on gratitude and the importance of perspective. having, I had my friend Sloan here for about 12 hours, maybe less, 10 hours. And really, in that, maybe about 18 hours, but in that short amount of time, I really savored the time we had together, because one, he's from New Zealand, and he leaves in a few days, so it could possibly be the last time I ever see him. Like I said in a previous video, I talked about Sloan. He was the first friend I made here in Korea, and I didn't get to see Sloan, as much as I wanted, or probably we both wanted, but the times we shared were very, we went on little adventures around Seoul and stuff, and he's a really good friend. And there was a point where we were in a cafe in Coffee Sun, which is a local, really awesome cafe, and I was just like, Sloan, out loud, I was like, look at where we are, look at how we're living at this moment, does it really get any better than this, and I was like, I'm just gonna burn this into my head as just a good time of my life. And how many of those, or how many times have we actually taken in our lives to savor a good time? How many times have we exaggerated bad times? Looking back on my last 6.5, 7 months here in Korea, I kind of feel like I may have exaggerated a few times how bad I'm having it. But then, I'm not keeping perspective, and I think I've talked about this before too, but bigger than gratitude, I think, is perspective. Perspective in your situation, in other situations. It does tie directly into gratitude, but, I don't think they're entirely mutually exclusive, but but perspective is also very important to keep in mind. And when I see and hear about, real problems, I've been reading more news recently and, getting into more of the nitty-gritty and in the world, and you see these places, cities, countries, whatever, that have actual problems, and my problems here were not that big, not getting along with my boss isn't that big of a deal, to be honest, but the perspective and the sort of, how would you describe it, the feelings you have in the moment are intense, are real, are passionate, are emotional. I don't think it's very healthy either to deny those feelings in the moment, to maintain a level of perspective in the heat of the moment is something that only very few people in the world, I think, are capable of doing. People who are very, very centered and are very, very self-actualized, I think, probably can do it too with some degrees of success. But how many people are like that I've ever seen? Very, very few. Maybe none. So, I think just to circle back around and finish my discussion on gratitude I'll just say that gratitude is something that I think everyone could use a little more of. If things are starting to feel like a struggle, like things are working against you, take a second and just look at your life. Look at the beautiful things in your life and the fortunes you have on a daily basis. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have food in your belly? Do you have people who love you and who tell you they love you? Take stock in the things that really matter. yes, it is true that you might be in a bad position at work or with some other friends or whatever, but in the grand scheme of things, are those things really going to affect you in a way that really keeps you from being the person you want to be? And I know having a terrible boss can really put a damper on kind of your life, honestly. It really can kind of affect how you see life, but really, how much credit should you be giving that person if everything else in your life is good? You know what I mean? Everything else comes up roses. If you have someone that loves you and you love them and you have food and shelter and everything, how much power and how much power over you should you be giving that person that's ruining your life, or quote unquote ruining your life? And I think just being grateful for the things that are good is something that we all could try and do a little more. And I will, this semester at school, try and do. That's not to say I won't still have bad days, because I'm sure I will, but, putting forth the effort to try and not see things in a sort of cup half empty way is something I'll definitely be trying. Alright, so thank you for watching entry number 167. This has been, interesting. This week I'll only be doing 4 days because I have my provincial orientation here in Gangneung on Friday, starting Friday through Monday, I believe. So that'll be cool. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.